So some more people are going to start coming in. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. We are excited to host this event. We have some great speakers and just excited to be exploring another organization that's promoting education equity and access in our state. So thankful for our speakers for being here, thankful for you guys for joining, and we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see if I can make it work. There we go. Okay. So my name is Taylor Haigler. I am a senior admissions counselor at Lander University. My co-chair for the Government Relations Committee with SACAG is Kyle Conrad. Kyle is on the call. Kyle, do you want to say hi?
Yes, hello. I work with Winthrop University as admissions counselor. This is my second year as the GovRel representative for South Carolina, so I'm very happy you guys have decided to join us today for this wonderful webinar we have going on, and I'm very happy that Taylor was able to spearhead this and get this all going, so a lot of props to her for getting all this going today.
Thanks. Kyle is definitely the brains of our duo, but he lets me come on and have fun, so thanks, Kyle, for that. If you guys are new to SACAG, SACAG is the Southern Association for College Admissions Counseling. We are a branch of NACAC, which is the National Association of College Admissions Counseling. We are just here to support education in the state of South Carolina. Me and Kyle co-chair the Government Relations Committee. We are monitoring federal and state legislation and initiatives related to college admissions, just supporting the promotion of education in the state. That could not be possible without NACAC and the resources that they give us. There's a lot of ways to be involved with our committee and our group, so definitely by the end of the meeting, we'll talk more about that. But we're here today to hear from Hispanic Alliance. Hispanic Alliance unites the largest network of agencies and individuals working collaboratively to advance Hispanic communities in the upstate of South Carolina. They build trust with Hispanic communities by speaking their languages, promoting their culture, and understanding and addressing their needs. They help their partner agencies serve the local Hispanic population in a culturally, linguistically, and socially appropriate way. And they are advocates for diversity, equality, acceptance, and understanding. So thank you, Deborah and TJ, for being here. If you guys want to go ahead and share your screen, we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, well, my name is Deborah Alvarado. I am the Director of Programs and Network Engagement at Hispanic Alliance. I have been with the organization for 6 years now. Spearheading the programs and network, which we'll talk about. Hispanic, here we go. Hispanic Alliance, as Taylor mentioned, we are a nonprofit organization located here in Greenville, South Carolina, in the upstate. We foster collaboration and connectivity among people, resources, and culture, but to build thriving communities where we envision our community where everyone has access to opportunities to success without leaving behind their culture, their language, and the places where we come from. A little bit of history before, talking about some statistics. Hispanic Alliance have been a nonprofit organization. We're going into our 15th year next year. In 2008, here in Greenville, South Carolina, we had what is now the third largest immigration rate at our chicken factory, which if you are from the Greenville region, it is in where North Pleasantburg is located, very close to Cherrydale. And at that time, we didn't have Hispanic Alliance, but we did have community members, Hispanic community members that will gather mainly to share culture. At that time, it wasn't like today where we have a Hispanic grocery store, in every corner, or we can have more accessibility on finding food from our different countries. So at that time, back in 2008, we had a group of individuals that had different skill sets, but were coming more together to celebrate culture. The immigration rate happened where more than 300 community members were detained, and quickly these community members gather and brainstorm on ways that we could support these families. One of them was mom and dad. Most of them were working at the chicken factory, so at the time the petition was, can we leave behind one of the parents so that when the kids arrive home from school, they have someone waiting at home for them? And quickly, they were able to talk with the immigration agents, ICE, to make this happen. And then after that, it was more of like, how can we support the families that, are here for now, since, that is detained and most likely will go through deportation proceedings. So that was, okay, parent needs to, learn the language. So finding ESL classes. Parent now needs financial support. So how can we support with groceries, doing financial planning, trying to secure their rent and utility assistance for the next 3 months, because it's, it's a new life now that them and their kids are going to have to, pave the way, with a lot of challenges, while still emotionally being affected by this situation that can be a lot of trauma. So this happened in 2008, and quickly everybody realized, my gosh, we did this for 300 people. We can do so much more for our community. And that's when Hispanic Alliance was born, as we know it today. It has definitely grown in the past 15 years, and we'll share some of those details. But to start with, just to give you a little bit of background, here in Greenville County, we are nearly 60,000 Hispanics, people that identify as Hispanic. That data is based on census. Now, based on the South Carolina Minority for Commissions Affair, the number can be higher, because we do know that we have a lot of undocumented families that fear completing the census. So this number can be much greater here in Greenville, but not only in Greenville, throughout the state as well. In Greenville County, we are 11% that identify as Hispanic. That is including Puerto Ricans, which, as we know, they are American citizens, but for this data, Puerto Ricans also count as Hispanic, which I'm Puerto Rican. 45% of our families with school-age children, so this is 5K through 12, are with our household incomes of less than 25,000 families. Most of the families that we serve in Hispanic Alliance through our programs or through our request for assistance phone line also fall within this category. And 19.5% of our Hispanic community members have a bachelor's degrees or higher, compared to 42% of our white community members here in our area. Okay, so Hispanic Alliance, how do we work? How do we connect with our community? We have 4 buckets, or 4 community teams, 4 pillars as we know them, which are education, health, financial stability, and legal access, all which are under the umbrella of our network, and in which we support SDA, which TJ will be talking about later on. To start in with our network is very strong, over 3,000 members across the state, most of them which are also in the upstate region. We get together once a month. We have our network meeting the second Wednesday of every month, once virtual, 2 in person. So if you want to be part of those meetings, please let me know. I'll be happy to share more details in 2024. But this is a time where we come together to learn about what is happening in our community, programs that are being developed, how can we collaborate, and what are really our focus, where our focus needs to be in order to not only support our Hispanic community here in Greenville, but the community as a whole, right? Because we don't want to isolate communities. We want to make sure that we are all, working together, and that everybody has that sense of belonging, because we're here, we are in our state, and we want to continue to contribute and support as we do on a daily basis. So we have our network, and under our network, we have our community teams. In the education team, our strategic goals are to increase high school graduation rate for Hispanic youth and build collaborations with higher education institutions to increase enrollment and graduation among Hispanic students here in the state, which I'm hoping that the people that are joining us today, or that will watch this recording later, will really want to become part of our education team as we meet in a quarterly basis to strategize, to really learn opportunities that are available for students, and to disseminate that information to the students that we work with. In the education team, there are two programs that we focus on. We provide lunch and learns where we go to different high schools in Greenville County. We tailor those lunch and learns based on the school needs, where we talk about scholarships, career readiness, how to apply for college, stories of success. We have college students come and talk with students about how was their process of applying to college, of getting accepted, or how, they were able to, obtain financial needs. Was it through scholarship? All of those things. The students at the high school level always love when they get to hear from college students, because they even want to know, like, how did you get into a dorm? How was that process like? Or like, how do you do it with the test? Or how do you find your classroom? So it's really neat when we are able to have those students and share that information with our high school students when we are in our lunch and learn sessions. In a typical full calendar year, we are connecting with nearly 500 students through our lunch and learn programs. And then the other project that we also focus on is our education fair. We just happened about 3 weeks ago. We had over 300 families under one roof that were able to connect with higher institutions, higher ed institution, certification programs, quick jobs, apprenticeship, internships opportunity. And we're also very intentional that we call it an education fair rather than a college fair, because we also have Hispanic individuals that are adults that want to, learn the language. So we're ensuring that we are bringing other educational components that is not just, college universities, so that the whole family as a whole has an opportunity to make those connections that will help them, that will support them, opening those doors of success, going back to our mission. We also have 3 other focus areas in the health arena. We work very closely with the health systems, with our, local clinics, and we focus on what are the resources that are needed in the community. It changes, right? The needs of our community are always changing. After the pandemic, it has definitely changed. So I can tell you for, this year and next year, we're heavily focusing on mental health, active living with our partners, which are the areas that we are receiving the most, questions, concerns about. A very strong team. We always make sure that our community teams are very collaborative and that they don't work in silos. So it is always, we always have somebody from the health team also joining the lunch and learn, because we have students that want to learn about nursing or career in the, health arena. So there's always intersection between all of our community teams. Financial stability. We have 2 amazing programs that we focus throughout the year. We just ended our business workshop, which is a 3-day workshop where we have Hispanic individuals learn A through Z, how they can start opening their business, legal aspect, business planning, marketing, accounting, banking, all of that. We do it in collaboration with many partners such as SCORE, the South Carolina Small Business Development Department, the community work, the Women in Business Center. So we really work in collaboration to make all of these programs happen. Also, we have a personal finance workshop, which in this coming year, we're being very intentional about working in collaboration with our education team, because we know that when, we need to learn about finances much younger, right? So we're going into the high school level to provide personal finance workshop with our students so that they don't get, into debt once they turn 18 and they get all those like super nice package offer letters for credit cards, and then they don't know how to use them. So this is going to be a focus of our education and financial stability team. And lastly, the legal team, which truly encompass all of the needs from our community and with our community teams. And we do a citizenship workshop where we provide legal assistance to our legal permanent residents that have completed their process and are now in the path of becoming citizens. It is a very lengthy process, a very expensive process. So we are able to once a year have our citizenship workshop, which is our most popular event, where we have attorneys volunteer their time to complete the form with trained volunteers and have a consultation And it is so nice every time that we receive a picture, an email, a letter, a text message of someone thanking us for that support, and with a picture of them holding the United States flag with their diploma that they're now citizens. So it is truly my favorite. I know that this is being recorded, so I probably shouldn't have said, which program is my favorite, but this is one that you really see the impact that it has on a family and how many other opportunities they will have access to once they're citizens. So these 4 community teams really are the background or the foundation of all of the work that Hispanic Alliance does. We don't duplicate programs. So if we know that there is another organization doing something similar in our area, we're going to collaborate and work with them. Although most of the programs that I just mentioned right now are here in our Greenville area, we're always working with our partners across the state to provide best practices if somebody wants to duplicate one of these in their areas, and provide that support, that knowledge that we know, so that you can take it back into your community. And I think these are just some of the numbers of the programs that I just shared with you all. Some of the numbers from this year. Again, combined with our network, we have over 3,000 individuals that make all of this happen. Our community teams are a backbone of the organization and provide tremendous support to all of the other programs, including Student Dreamers Alliance. And also we have a request for assistance program. The request for assistance is a phone line where our community members and also agency representatives can call us and to ask questions. If you need a resource and you don't know who to contact, you can get in connection with us, and we'll make that connection with the organization that provides the appropriate service. So we call ourselves that bridge of communication between the community member and the service agencies. We're not a service provider, right? So because we have 4 different areas that we're focusing on work within the programs team. We're not the attorney, we're not the professor, we're not the doctor, but we have the connections to make that a little bit easier for someone that doesn't know who to contact. That language can be a barrier, and even for our service agencies that may want to find someone that speaks the same language for the person that they are supporting on the other end. And before we jump into Student Dreamers Alliance, again, we're here to support all of you. We convene. This is I every time I look at this picture, it's just like I always get very emotional, because this picture right here is from earlier in the year when we had our healthy cooking class, and it is a mix of community members and service agency representatives. Looking at this picture, I see Prisma Health, I see New Horizon, I see Bon Secours, San Francis. So it's always very nice when you have, I see DHEC as well, when you have all of the health systems, right, in one picture, working together towards the same mission. And we see that throughout all of our programs and Hispanic Alliance as a whole. We unify, we activate, we engage, and we elevate. That's what we are here to do. All of our programs, our mission, our vision, our values transfer into Student Dreamers Alliance, which is our baby here in the organization. And for that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen to allow TJ Rumler talk more about the program. TJ, I think you're muted.
Thank you for that, Deborah. Rookie mistake. So I threw in the chat a link for our SDA for the website. And what I'd like to do is talk to you about a program that is very near and dear to my heart. But before I begin, my name is TJ Rumler. I am a licensed clinical social worker in the upstate area up here in Greenville, South Carolina. I have been with Hispanic Alliance since February, officially as an employee. But prior to that, I was with the organization as a volunteer wearing many different hats. I was the chair of the education team that Deborah just spoke about for a few years. Loved doing work through that. Went to network events, got a lot of different resources, and then also was a guest facilitator for the Student Dreamers Alliance. And like I said, came on in February as a full-time employee as Director of Leadership Development Programs, the main program being Student Dreamers Alliance. And I know that just generally the fields that all the attendees, all of y'all that are here, and probably if you're watching this, you probably serve students in some capacity. And if you're anything like me, one of the worst things to hear from a student is a lack of hope that they can achieve whatever it is that they want to do. And I'll never forget, around 2015, 2016, I was working for Greenville County Schools as the trauma-informed specialist for the school district. And one of the students I was working with, actually at Carolina High School, at my alma mater, she was a Hispanic female student, a senior. She was right around valedictorian, performance rate, and had only just recently, as a senior, as she was beginning to apply for colleges, learned of her status of being undocumented here in the United States. And I'll never forget like the look on her face when she told me how much that changed the hope that she had to what she could accomplish. And you may or may not know, but in South Carolina, we are one of the 3 states, with Alabama and Georgia being the others, with extremely prohibitive legislation for how someone who is undocumented in our state can achieve both educational opportunities and workforce opportunities. This young lady was, in that boat. If you are undocumented in the state of South Carolina, even if you've been living here since you were 1 day old, you are not allowed to enroll in a public university, even if you paid 100% cash as an out-of-state tuition. You can go to a private university. So let's say that young lady who she wanted to be a teacher or a nurse, even if she went to, Charleston Southern, let's say, and got a degree in nursing, she still in South Carolina could not get licensed to become a nurse. So immediately she realizes that her dreams were very limited, especially if she wanted to stay around her family, which many of our students are very family oriented. And, I see her still around Greenville. She's working in the service industry, and in her eyes, doesn't have much of a hope if she wants to stay near her family. Now, where that also played out in our ecosystem was her younger sister, who was 2 years younger. When she saw what happened to her older sister, immediately felt like, well, what's the use for me? And she became a student who was involved in truancy and eventually ended up dropping out. And now what you see on this slide, this is Axel and Ariana. They are 2 graduates of the Student Dreamers Alliance. They are 2 students that I love. They are near and dear to my heart. But it's because of that first student, who I won't use her name. It's because of students like that, and because of the legislation that is in South Carolina, that the Hispanic Alliance in 2015 formed this program that we call the Student Dreamers Alliance. And it was formed for students to be able to want to learn more about the legislative barriers and all kinds of other barriers that they may face, that their families may face. And believe it or not, even those of us, I'm not Hispanic, barely speak Spanish, but it still impacts my life as well. And those are the things that we want to talk to them about, to be able to empower them, to encourage them, to educate them, to go on and be, leaders in our community. I want to share with you a 3-minute video that talks about the formation of this program.
One day when I was 7, my mom was like, we're leaving. We crossed the Arizona desert, walking for hours and hours, and I was tired. We ran out of water. I'm sorry. The longest walk I ever took.
I wish we could find common ground and listen to common sense when it comes to these children. I felt a call to not only find solutions for them, but to help them recover hope. The Student Dreamers Alliance allows the students to talk about their fears and their challenges, to discover that voice within. We help them push through the fear of speaking truth to power. We help them feel empowered to talk to legislators and to suggest the changes that they want to see.
Last fall, I asked some dreamers to come testify. I mean, their stories were the definition of leaders, the definition of what an American is. In November of last year, I filed a bill that would remove the obstacles for dreamers.
Before SDA, I was like, no, I can't do that. Now I'm like, well, why not? I walked so much to get here. I'm not about to quit now.
The time at which the Catalyst Fund is supporting the Student Dreamers Alliance could not be more pivotal. This is the time for us to invest in youth. This is the time for us to invest in the next generation.
So as you can see from that there's a lot to be proud of in this program. And what I'll tell you kind of the way a student gets into this program. We are a mixed immigration status leadership development program for Hispanic youth. We are now in Greenville and also in Charleston. We're currently in our seventh year in Greenville and our second year in Charleston. If you live in any of those areas, or if you're familiar, in Greenville, our students come from Carolina High School and Berea High School. And in Charleston right now, they come only from Stall High School, and we're considering moving towards a two-school model down there. Each cohort is comprised of 24 students in total. They are all juniors or seniors. It is a very intense program, and it's also an intense one to get into. So students can apply for this, or actually they have to apply for this program. They can also have references from staff members at their school. Once they apply, we usually give interviews to all students who apply, and then we select our final group. And then we begin and they go through their entire school year. So students will meet with us one time every month through the duration of their school year. And I'll give you a little bit more in a minute about what those days look like. Our model is inspired by the Aspen Leadership Institute, which is another fellowship program for adults. And it has different core components of self-discovery, one being the main one. And so every kind of seminar, we'll go through a different reading or a video, and then we'll use the Socratic method of healthy debate and really challenging students to look at the reading, but then reflect on how does this apply to you? How does this affect how you see yourself and how you ultimately see the world? And kids get a chance to really dig deep and learn more about each other. One of the things I love about these kids is when we do the interviews at the beginning, one of the questions we ask is, what would you like to get out of this opportunity? And so many of them, even at 15, 16 years old, say that I want to expand my worldview. I don't even think I had that concept when I was that age, but they said, I want to learn more about people who may have had a similar experience from me, but also how that has shaped them differently than me. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. We also have a lot of engagement with our kids outside of sessions. One of the things that we're incredibly proud of at SDA is our mentorship program. We have a culturally relevant mentorship program that we're actually in our first year of implementation. And right now we have in Greenville, we have a 100% match. So all the students who are in our existing cohort for SDA have a community mentor. Many who look like them, who are able to speak bilingually with them if they so choose. And we match them based on personal interests, but also try to do our best to match them with professional interest. And we're really excited at how that's going to continue to grow these students and increase their social capital. If you're interested in being a mentor, we are still looking for mentors in the upstate and in the low country. If you use the link that I put in the chat, you can go to the mentorship tab and fill out an application. We provide a lot of support to our mentors, so you're not just kind of out there on an island with your student as well. Another part of the outside engagement outside of our seminars is grateful in our eyes to our school liaisons. So each one of those 3 schools that we mentioned has at least one, probably 2 school employees of different kind of fields. So we have school administration, we have people from communities and schools, we have teachers, we have media assistants, and all kind of different folks who serve as the liaison to make sure that those students are connected and have everything they need in between the seminars. And they also help us with the logistics of getting the students to the seminars, which is really, really important. And I love this program because it's not just a college preparatory program. When I'm doing the recruiting for this program, I'll look each student in the eye and, you know, I'll tell them this isn't just a program to get you ready for college. This is a program where we're going to challenge you. And are you ready for that? Because we're going to push you. We're going to ask you to stretch beyond what's comfortable. And we're going to ask you to reach for things that you may not have been willing or thought you could reach for in the past. Some of our goals include just enhancing student social and emotional and interpersonal skills. They have some work around nonviolent communication, talking about boundaries, emotional regulation, things like that. We also help them build their community power and social capital, both within the seminars, but also through the speakers that we bring in. In each seminar, we have a community expert and in different areas around, you know, immigration. We have an immigration attorney that comes in to talk about the history of social justice and immigration efforts in the United States. We have somebody to come in and talk to them about improving their public speaking skills, because we know that all of these students are going to be in front of a camera or some kind of stakeholder of power at some point, and we want them to be as polished as possible to be able to tell their story. And then also we help them to get internships because we want to increase their ability to earn. So right now in Greenville, if you're familiar with Launch Greenville, that's one of the partnerships that we have through the Greenville Chamber and Greenville County Schools, where we help our students get internships in the community with the agencies and the companies that they would like to work at. So they're able to increase their network in so many different ways by going through this program. We're really proud of that as well. Now, this is a very high level look at what the seminars look like. If you'll notice, it's designed to help students develop all kinds of different skills, but all of them fall back under the umbrella of leadership. There's 6 seminars. Now, if you caught it, I said 7 times. So 6 seminars. And then in January, we have a day of service where students, you know, they identify collectively a topic that they would like to work on. So I think Greenville and Charleston this year are both doing animal service. So we're going to go to like a humane society and do a day of volunteer work. But in these 6 seminars, each one has a variety of activities, including knowledge building, self-discovery, and then also you'll notice a section on project focus. I'll talk to you in a minute about that. But in each time, we have different goals and a different theme that we focus on, where we allow them to both connect with each other, to learn internally, to apply that knowledge externally, and then ultimately work on a community project. So we do believe in empowering our students to change their community, not just to change themselves. So at the very beginning of each cohort, we challenge them to work amongst each other or work amongst themselves to find an issue in their community that they wish could be changed. And then we help them to craft a project that is feasible to, you know, build and bring to completion within one school year. And many times they work with the community teams that Deborah just mentioned. What you see here is a photo of last year, class 6 from Greenville, actually at the day of a community health and resource festival. So it was a day of fun for families. It was on Easter weekend, where families could also get information on resources that were in the community that they may not know about. And it was beautiful seeing these kids work on this, because at the very beginning, they formed committees. Some felt like they wanted to do more in marketing, some were in volunteer engagement, some were in resource gathering, some were in logistics. And so they all worked together. They learned about committee formation, chairs, co-chairs, and bringing all that together while collaborating with other organizations. And then they were able to go and both enjoy the day of the event, but also help to make sure that it went on with great success. We also believe in having a strenuous evaluation process. We partner with the University of South Carolina School of Social Work to do an evaluation. We're right now in the middle of a 6-year longitudinal eval. But this is just some of the data that we pulled from last year's exit slips at the end of the final cohort. And as you can see, students have reported that they feel like SDA helps them across the board. Axel even at the beginning, one of the students you saw on the cover slide for SDA, he's at USC Upstate right now. And I talked to him a few weeks after he began, and he told me almost with a surprised kind of tone in his voice, you know, I was really excited because when I got here, I kind of noticed where I felt like I was versus other freshmen. And he said, I really felt like what we did in SDA helped me be more prepared to start this journey. And, you know, that made me as happy as any kind of survey data could provide. We're also proud to say that we're able to have a scholarship fund for SDA. We granted 8 scholarships last year. We're actually going to be able to grant 12 this year. And just for context, at the end of this SDA cohort 7, I believe will be around 200 total alumni. So to be able to give 12 scholarships, each of $2,500, if every student applied, if all of our alumni applied, each one would still have a very high chance of getting the scholarship. So if you are working with a student that you somehow find out that they went through SDA, make sure that you ask them, did you apply for the SDA scholarship? Because that's a really good opportunity. And on top of SDA, that is we love it because we're able to keep it small and we're able to work very intensely with each one of these students. We also believe in affecting our larger ecosystem. So something that we're proud to be working on right now, we don't have any final data to be able to share with you because we're still in the middle of doing it, is we're working with funding that we received from the Annie E. Casey Foundation to do a community survey to come up with a final, Deborah, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm lost here.
Common agenda.
A common agenda for Hispanics in South Carolina. So we're working with Spanglish Consulting and our community teams right now to do community conversations to ask, what are the needs? What are the barriers? What are our strengths in our community? You're actually living here. You're actually working here. You have boots on the ground and you live in these communities. So what are the things that you see that our legislators, that stakeholders, that people in power in our state need to know about? And at the end, we're going to be able to put all that together, make it nice and pretty and put that together so everybody can see it and use it when you are advocating for the needs in your communities. We're really proud for that. And Deborah, do you have anything to add on that?
No, and part of the common agenda is the needs of a Hispanic community are different in areas of our state. There are areas where there's more support than in others. So, the needs in Greenville are very different than the groups in Charleston or the Midlands area or, PD area, Saluda. So we're really trying to be very intentional about, encompassing all the voice of all of our community across the state. So if you're someone that has very close connections with your Hispanic community in your neighborhood, in the area there you live, please let us know because we really want to be intentional about including the voice of all of our South Carolinians.
Absolutely. One of the things that I love about working with Hispanic Alliance is there's a lot of organizations that they have, you have your mission, your values, and your vision, and then it just sits on a website. And I love that we regularly come back to our values. And one of those core values is collaboration. And I've never been around a group that uses that with intention the way Hispanic Alliance does. Our director, Adela Mendoza, from SDA to community teams to the common agenda, we refuse to do anything without evaluation and without making sure that we're in touch with community voice. And so, as Deborah said, if you or anyone you feel like their voice needs to be heard in that conversation, please let us know. We can send you a link for them to sign up for a conversation. And then also this QR code will take you directly to our website. We would love to have you engaged, whether you would love to be a part of a community team, a mentor with SDA, or just to learn more about our program in general and the ways that you can connect. We would happily set up a further Zoom call, or if you're in the area, we even come and meet with you in person. We always love breaking bread and having a cafecito with our community members. But follow us on social, and we're here for questions. And Deborah, unless you have something you want to add.
Yeah, it's more of that ask of support as well. Most of the people that are in this call you are in admissions. You're here representing a college and institution, which we need that connection for our students, right? So if you are someone that would like to, share information about your institution, opportunities, careers, scholarships available, especially if you're someone that accepts undocumented students or, mixed status students, DACA students, let us know, because that is information that will be useful for our Student Dreamers Alliance, and also to share with the students that we serve through Lunch and Learns and that come to our education fair as well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. That is so powerful, and the work you do is so important. So thank you very much. I know we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. I know Liz has her hand up. So Liz, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for this, and Taylor, thank you for the invitation. I know sometimes I get y'all's emails and they go to my junk mail for some reason, but anyway, I'm the coordinator of Hispanic recruitment for Lander University, and we are located in Greenwood. As I started El Puente Latino as a bridge, pretty much kind of doing some advocacy and, outreach for our community last year. And I've got in contact with Deborah and Cesar, and it's been great because we've been able to be at the education fair for 2 years now. But I do have a lot of people come to me, especially from our community, the Greenwood community, asking if, they don't have a status. They would like to attend college, and they don't have the means. And of course, I've been doing my research, and I refer them to some scholarships they may be eligible to. But is it okay, or I guess, is it something that I should do, like to refer them to Hispanic Alliance, like just directly to you guys, or how can I do, or how can I guess partner up with someone specifically for these people? Well, it doesn't matter if they go to Lander or not, or we're trying to help our community.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So there's different ways. Our community phone line, the request for assistance, is available for any community member to call us in, let us know about challenges, barriers, or resources that they need, and we'll do our very best always to connect them. When it comes to scholarships, on our website, HispanicAllianceSC.com, under resources, we have compiled a list of scholarships. Our intern, Ariana, is in the process now of updating all of the deadlines for the incoming year, since most of them have closed out. But there is a scholarship database that we have compiled, not from Hispanic Alliance, as we providing that financial support, but scholarships that are available in the upstate region or state level, regional or even national. And we are very intentional also about making it easier on the student, as far as having an area where they know who can apply. If you have to have citizenship, if you're DACA, if you're undocumented, if it's through visa. So that's a really useful tool that you can share with your students. It is always changing, always ongoing, as we find out about new scholarships, or as we find out that a scholarship closed. And also, if you know of a scholarship that is available, whether it is through your institution or not, let us know, because that is something that we can also share with the students.
Okay. Can y'all hear me still? Yeah, okay. I'm sorry about the background noise. I just found a website, and I shared it on Facebook page of El Puente Latino, and this scholarship is, I think it's full ride. Well, it is a full ride scholarship for undocumented immigrants. And I mean, I can send it to you, Deborah, to your email if you want the link. And I shared it, like I said, on social media. But unfortunately, for people who want to go to Lander and they're not, you know, they don't have their status or their legal status. You know, I would like probably to refer them to the legal aspect or the legal area of y'all, so that, you know, maybe they can start from there. Because I had someone reach out. She's 30 years old. She's DACA, and she wants to start her college, you know, career. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, send them this link. Is it something TJ sent in the
Yeah,
chat?
that is the link to the scholarship database.
Okay.
Yeah. Liz, if you can then send me the information of the scholarship that you're talking about, we'll be happy to add it. And also for any student family that have questions or legal concerns, yes, please give them our phone number. We do also have a list of attorneys that, you know, are accredited, that have their, you know, status up to date with the South Carolina Bar Association. So we're able to provide them contact information to attorneys based on the need that they may have.
Perfect. We'll do that.
Liz, I also just added a link to another spreadsheet that you should be able to view. This is a project that we are currently working on with the United Way of Greenville that is going to be ultimately hopefully a comprehensive resource for students who are undocumented. So you'll also have information on there about private universities that these students could attend, that you could and should have even a point of contact.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. I'll go ahead and get that.
Can I add to that too? For all of y'all who are interested in advocacy, more of a longer term thing is, you know, Bill Hotel 3288, which that may change when session starts back. Neil Collins, who you saw in the video that I showed, he's a legislator. He's a House member from Easley, South Carolina, who is a champion for Dreamers. They're constantly trying to reverse legislation, is at least with the licensing part of this prohibitive legislation, to be able to allow students to get licensed, or to allow anyone who is undocumented to be able to get licensed in the career that they are actually able to do, that they're competent to do. So that's something that if you want to write people, you know, if you know your legislators and your congressmen, your senators, just let them know that we are in favor of doing this.
Thank you. Thank you. We have one question in the chat. Derek asked, they are in the process of hiring a staff member to help serve Hispanic Latino students. Is there a list of organizations, contacts, or network groups across the state that we can immediately connect them with?
The South Carolina Commissions of Minority Affairs has a list of organizations across the state and the areas that they focus on. I will be happy to share the email of that person. Give me 1 second, because I can actually put it in the chat. I have it handy. And I can share with you. When it's in the upstate, I'll recommend, you know, Hispanic Alliance. Also, El Centro Latino for any educational resources and opportunities is another one out of the Spangenberg region. The office itself is based in USC Upstate. So that would be one that I recommend. I'm looking here. Okay, here it is. I am sending this to everyone in the chat. But at the Commission for Minority Affairs, the person in contact is Ivan Segura. And where is the chat? Right here. Give me one. Okay, there it is. He's the Director of Multicultural Affairs. He does have an updated list of all of the agencies around the state that serve. If you're looking for something just educational aspect, I will highly recommend to reach out to him.
Any other questions for now? Great. Well, again, Deborah, TJ, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it more than you know. So thank you very much for your time. I am going to turn it back and share my screen really quickly just to go over some upcoming events through SACAC for our members and our guests. Let's Yeah. All right, so the South Carolina Drive-In Workshop is scheduled for February 2nd of next year. That is going to be held at Lander University from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're not familiar with the Drive-In Workshop, that is just a professional development event for high school counselors and college admissions counselors. We're going to be exploring some hot topics in the world of admissions. We're going to have some great guests. So if you can make it, we would love to have you. The registration for that is going to open soon. The South Carolina Legislative Day is going to be March 6th of next year. We're going to start at the Hammond School in Columbia, South Carolina. And then we are going to end at the State House. So if you are interested in speaking with some legislators, going over some things that are going on in the state for education, definitely join us. We would love to have you. Kyle, do you have anything you want to add on either of those events?
So the legislative day, I know some of you people here joining us today was able to join me down in Columbia last year at Hammond School. It's going to be similar to that. The big difference is we're going to have more speakers there than just someone from the state Senate. We're actually going to try to get the Commission for Higher Education and NACAC to also speak there. So it's going to be a good day to get more knowledge, be able to get advocating more, especially with this bill. TJ just shared with us today, H3288, if I believe I wrote that down correctly there. We can do some more research on that, and that could be something that we could talk about to our representatives and senators. That could be a very big talking point that going to affect almost all of us in the population we work with. There's a good opportunity to get in front of your senators and representatives to speak on that bill, as well as other educational policies in South Carolina that we think could use adjusting and fixing as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. All right, well, that is going to wrap up our event. If there are any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will get those answered for you. Thank you guys for attending today. We all lead very busy lives, so taking the time to listen to this today shows your leadership and your commitment to our profession. So thank you all for being here. I enjoyed spending this time with you. I hope you guys have great days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.